Hello everyone, this is JW. Today I'm going to show you my top 5 favourite albums and top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s in my opinion. I'm going to start with my top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s first. They're not really bad albums, but just qualities that aren't as strong as the other 2010 albums. Let's get to it. Coming at number 5 is Now 80. I liked it a bit more over the years, but it's just an okay album. The first half of this one is better than the second. I like my favourite ones from Rihanna and Calvin Harris, Bruno Mars, Olly Murs with Sizzle Kicks. Yeah, some great classics from Maroon 5, JLS, Wanted, and Saturdays. I also quite like One Direction's What Makes You Beautiful. Yeah, it's just my opinion. And the second half was just kind of okay, although it had some dull ones from Lana Del Rey and Charlene Sawyer. And also, there some pretty good ones near the end from Goo Goo Dolls and Matt Cardle. This too has a better first half and second as well. I mean, like, I have favourites from Gym Class Heroes to Rizzle Kicks, followed by Jason Derulo, David Guetta of Usher, Calvin Harris, Zach Noel's Local People, and Tinchy Stryder. And there are also very good ones in between from Labyrinth, Dappy, Leo Lewis with Avicii, example. Also Sean Kingston's Party All Night I liked more over the years. Then the rest of it is just kind of okay. And some ones that shockingly aren't on the album, like She Makes Me Wanna, Promises, Little Bad Girl, you know. But it's a real okay album, but it's number 5 on my top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s. Coming in at number 4 is Now 104. Kind of an average Now album to me. This one's much better than this too. Has some really good ones near the beginning, with one of my favourite covers from Regard, Ride It. And of course have other favourites from AJ Tracey, both Tiesto songs, and Right On with Ola Heldens' Turn Me On, which is a brilliant dance song. And of course, there are ones near the beginning, apart from Dance Monkey, which I never liked. But a lot of good ones from Kygo with Whitney Houston, Post Malone, Ed Sheeran, Stormzy, Joel Corry, Cigar with Ella Henderson. The mid section was kind of mid, like some mid ones from Lil Nas X and Lil Tecca, and one of my least favourite Billie Eilish songs. And of course, there's some good dance songs a long way from Jax Jones and BB Rexha, Becky Hill. I also quite like some of the rap tunes from Stormzy and Lizzo. And although it had one of my least favourite ones from Y2K. This 2, excluding now throwbacks, is one of the weakest This 2s to me. My main two highlights are Sam Fender and Dermot Kennedy. I also quite like ones from Tom Walker, Dan and Shay, Diplo with Jonas Brothers and Westlife. The others are just kind of okay, though it had some pretty weak ones as well, like Doing Time and Moving Too Fast cover. So overall, kind of an average Now album to me, so that's why it's at number 4 on my top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s. Coming at number 3 is Now 84. Again, kind of an average Now. This one is just okay. My main favourites are from Olly Murs with Florida, Bruno Mars, Where I Am with Britney Spears. I also like the ones from James Arthur, Kesha, Saturdays, Nicole Scherzinger, and Rita Ora. The rest of the album just kind of okay, though had some pretty weak ones to me from Disclosure of Sam Smith and Gabrielle Aplin's cover of Power of Love, although I'd rather take those songs over Harlem Shake any day, which I despise, by the way. This too has a great beginning, in my opinion. Some of my favourites on Bingo Players with Far East Movement, Calvin Harris, Tiny Temper, Wiley with Chip. I also really like ones from Avicii with Nicky Romero, Pitbull, Dizzy Rascal, Conor Maynard. I like the rock section as well, from Biffy Clyro to Lumineers, so McFly, and one of my favourite Fall Out Boy songs, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark. The rest of this was just kind of okay, although Fleetwood Mac's Everywhere made a good comeback after being on the free advert. It's a good classic. So overall, kind of an average Now album to me, so that's why it's at number 3 on my top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s. Coming in at number 2 is Now 100. Yes, I know it's meant to be a milestone album, but it's just kind of disappointing in terms of it only has one disc of latest chart hits. I get it, they had to do a Greatest Now Hits disc to celebrate the 100 release, which is actually a good selection. This one's actually pretty good too, even though it's only one disc. It has favourites from Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa, Years and Years, David Guetta with Sia, Tiesto with Jekko, 5 Seconds of Summer, and also my favourite Jonas Brothers song, Rise. Also good songs from George Ezra, Anne Marie, Ariana Grande, M22, BB Rexa, Jax Jones, Shawn Mendes. Yeah, actually, pretty good selection. The only weak one to me is MU4's You Can't Hurry With, which is just a mid cover. Yeah, and also, yeah, it's just kind of disappointing. There's no second disc of latest hits, but, you know, we got to accept it what it is. But it's, in my opinion, the second weakest album of the 2010s. The weakest album of the 2010s, in my opinion, is Now 98. Now 98 is just one of the most mid albums to me. This one is just not the best, this one. My main favourites are from Jason Derulo, Said with Liam Payne, and Charlie Puth. Had some decent ones near the beginning from Dua Lipa, Ed Sheeran, Ciencio. I also quite like ones from Louis Tomlinson, Maroon 5. Rita Ora Is Anywhere has become great to me. And of course, the rest of it's just kind of okay, or some weak ones on the way from Post Malone, J Balvin, also my least favourite Queen Manet song, I Miss You, and also Charli XCX. Just one of the weakest disc ones to me. Disc 2 is a lot better. It has a bit more variety than just pop and ballads. It has some of my favourite dance songs from Axel and Grosso and MK. I also really like ones from Craig David, Chris Brown, also Liam Gallagher's brilliant soul rock tune, Roar of Glass. I like the ending song from The Killers as well, The Man. It has some pretty good ones as well from Avicii, Youngin, Liam Payne, The Script. Yeah, I also found Big Shaq's Man's Not Hot quite catchy. Although, the rest of this is just okay, although it has some of my least favourite ones as well from Carol Fat to Elderbrook and Louis Vert, and particularly Cardi B's Bodak Yellow, which I despise, by the way. So, now let's say it's just one of the most mid albums to me, so that's why it's the weakest album of the 2010s in my opinion. Now let's get to my favourite ones. Coming in at number 5 is Now 79. It's entered my top 5 recently, and it's a brilliant album to me. The first half of this one is great. My favourite ones from Aloe Black, Bruno Mars, Jason Derulo, Jennifer Lopez. A lot of good classics as well from Lady Gaga. Also, Mr. Saxo Beat by Alexander Stan I liked more over the years. Also, we like ones from Katy Perry, Wanted, Nicole Scherzinger, Black Eyed Peas, Take That. Yeah, just a lot of great selections on the first half. I like what tunes as well, my favourite one being from Sky for Girls. We like the Coldplay one as well. Although it had a weak finish to me with 2 dull songs from Birdie and Temple Crowd. That's just my opinion. This 2 had a great beginning. Some of my favourite dance classics from Pitbull and MFEO. Also followed by David Guetta, Chris Brown, Karen Harris. Really like what upbeat tunes on the way from Example, Lloyd Cassian, Tinchy Stryder, Snoop Dogg, leading up to one of my favourite Swedish House Mafia songs, Save the World. Also, had some good highlights near the end as well from Winter Gordon and Alex Gordon Deneau with Kerry Rowan. Just a great selection of upbeat tunes on this too. And it's overall a brilliant album in my opinion, so that's why it's number 5 on my top 5 favourite albums of the 2010s. Coming in at number 4 is Now 82, another really strong summer album. This one had a great beginning as well, with one of my favourite rock classics from Fun, We Are Young. I had some of my favourite ones on the way from Flo Rida, De Bon Soul with a Twist, and also my favourite Train song, Drive By. A lot of great ones near the beginning, also from Maroon 5, Coldplay, Nicki Minaj, Rita Ora. Yeah, just a great first half. And like some of the ones near the end as well from Jason Mraz and Alex Clare. Now, Disc 2 is one of my favourite Disc 2s on this album. A lot of great dance pop classics, and my favourite ones being from DJ Fresh, Rita Ora, Jessie J with David Guetta, Karen Harris. Also, one of my favourite dance instrumentals from Swedish House Mafia, Greyhound, which is very iconic. Yeah, also Chris Brown's Turn Up the Music, and also has some great tunes on the way. I liked Teresa's Young and Lean's Euphoria more over the years. I also really like the ones of Will I Am, David Guetta with Nicki Minaj, Usher, Wanted, B.O.B., Tyler Cruz, Labyrinth, Sisters, just a lot of great ones on the way. Also Lawson's debut single, When She Was Mine. Yeah, just a great disc overall, well, apart from 2 on 2, which I'm not really into. But overall, a brilliant album, so that's why it's number 4 in my top 5 favourites of the 2010s. Coming in at number 3 is Now 88. Yes, another summer album, but spoiler alert, one of the ones in my top 5 isn't a summer album. but Now 88 has a brilliant selection of songs. This one was really solid as well, with one of my favourite hit wonders from Mr. Probs, Waves, which is really iconic. Also have a lot of favourite ones from Ed Sheeran, Chris Brown, Coldplay, Albert Black, Where I Am, of course. A lot of good ones in the first half from Rita Ora. Michael Jackson's appearance is good. Also, I liked Ella Henderson's Ghost More Over Years alongside Jessica's Right Here. Also, we got rock section as well from 5 Seconds of Summer, Rixton. Also, Vamps. Also, MKTO's classic was pretty underrated as well. Now, Disc 2 has a great selection of dance hits. My favourite ones being from Becky Hill with Oliver Heldens, Calvin Harris, Shift Key, John Martin, Cash Cash with BB Rexa, and of course, one of my favourites, Fuso DG songs, Dangerous Love. Just a lot of great ones on the way from Fall of Wadad, DJ Fresh, Tiesto, Matrix and Future Band. Also a pretty catchy song from Jason Derulo, Wiggle, and of course, I like the disco-themed song from DJ Cassidy, Calling All Hearts, and Neon Jungle's Welcome to Jungle is a great underrated girl group song. And of course, the Vamps Last Night was really good as well. So a lot of great names back in 2014 and an overall brilliant track list. That's why it's number 3 on my top 5 favourite albums of the 2010s. Coming in at number 2 is Now 76, another brilliant album, and I promise this is his last summer Now album on my top 5. Anyways, it starts really well with California Girls by Katy Perry. Really got some of my favourite ones from Enrique Iglesias, JOS, David Guetta, B.O.B. with Bruno Mars. Of course, we also like the one from Usher. Also, lean up to some of my other favourite ones from Roll Deep, Dizzy Rascal, and of course, Yolanda B. Cool's catchy We Know Speak Americano. I remember when that was big. And of course, also really like ones from Kelly Rowland, Ayaz and Timbaland. So overall a brilliant disc. And of course, disc 2 starts really well as well. Has my favourite ones from Scotty for Girls, Train, Black Eyed Peas, Agro Santos, Chipmunk, Resident's underrated Until You Are Gone. Of course, we like ones from Plan B, K-Nan, Jason Derulo, Just Sisters, Example, Swedish House Mafia, Alexandra Burke, Tyler Cruz, Skepta. Just a lot of really great names back then. And of course, ends really well with Tiny Temple, with Labyrinth and Pendulum. So overall, a brilliant summer album in my opinion. So that's why it's number 2 on my top 5 favourites and albums of the 2010s. Let's get to my favourite. My favourite album of the 2010s is Now 77. Just an excellent, iconic album to me. Of course, this one has a really strong first half. Of course, Katy Perry Firework was a great classic. That's my favourite ones of Flo Rida, Zero Green, Tyler Cruz, Tiny Temper with Eric Turner, and Usher with Pitbull. Also really like ones from Mike Posner, Enrique Iglesias, Wanted, Ori Murs, Eliza Doolittle. I like it when albums have a good run of artists. Also leading up to some of my favourite dance tunes from Duck Sauce and Swedish House Mafia. Followed by some other good tunes from Saturdays, Roll Deep, Neo. Of course, Tinchy Striders in my system I liked a bit more over the years. This too had a really strong start, however. So it won some Bruno Mars, B.O.B. with Harry Williams, and Script. Just a brilliant start to me. The only weak part of this disc is Rumours Slow, which is one of Madora's songs to me. Of course, my other favourites being Travis McCoy and Jay Sean. Also really like ones from Nelly, Labyrinth, Alicia Dixon, Brandon Flowers, Jason Derulo, McFly. Just a great selection of songs, a big variety of genres. Overall, a really iconic album, so that's why it's my favourite album of the 2010s. Here are my rankings of all the albums of the 2010s. Well, I hope you enjoyed seeing my top 5 favourites albums and top 5 weakest albums of the 2010s. Comment down below your favourite and weakest album of the 2010s. See you next video.